What is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Joel Friday TV podcast. I am Joel Friday. Few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down on like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up and a message out. We are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And during that time, you can call in at any point during the show. 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we could talk about whatever you want. Agree, disagree, whatever. We can get into it. So if you're listening on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, you can call in. Amazing stuff. If for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV, or go directly to the YouTube super chat button. Click that in the live chat area. You can send your question or comments there. I'll read them live on air. Or you can just support the show. That's much appreciated as well. So we will read those as they come in, so that way we can get those read on air. Amazing stuff. Really quick, those watching, this message is just for YouTube, the YouTube chat. So that way you're not confused on what I'm talking about. I'm talking to the YouTube chat just really quick. And by telling them that I demodded all the ladies in the in my live chat. I had moderators who help like control and police the chat, because the chat gets a little crazy sometimes. I demodded all the girls. I had girls and guys in there because I'm hearing word that some of them are abusing power a little bit, and I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I went against my colleagues, my fellow show hosts, when they said, "Don't mod the women, don't mod the women, don't mod the women." I'm like, come on. Why not? They can handle it, but not exactly. So I had to demod them and just leave it up to the men. Let the men handle it, and the women just enjoy the show. You can still be in a chat, but You know what I'm saying? Still love y'all, but y'all gotta go. So, anyway, let's get to some stuff. You know, you guys know and have seen that obviously there was an attempted assassination in Pennsylvania against Donald Trump. Right? And you've seen how there was a shooter on the roof that tried to shoot and kill Donald Trump. We know that, right? It's been in the news. We've been talking about it. But we also know that there was a guy that was killed. There was one man killed at the event. And, he was a firefighter, left behind two daughters and a wife. But we didn't really see from the family's perspective and what they were going through during the situation. We just kind of seen Trump as the main view, right? We seen him fall to the ground. Not fall to the ground. You got to watch what you say, because people take it the wrong way. But not fall to the ground, but he hit the ground once he got shot in the ear. We saw that, right? Secret Service got on top of him, and he got up and was like, boom, boom. Very inspiring, by the way. We saw that. And the crowd cheered, right? Crowd cheered because they saw Trump give a fist to the crowd, screaming, not screaming, but he was saying, fight, fight, fight. And the crowd starts screaming, yeah. yeah, America, Trump's the man. Amazing moment. But meanwhile that was happening, it wasn't so amazing for the family who was watching their father or husband or friend die. So I have a little bit of footage to shine a little bit of light on that situation because I found some footage online that was very, very interesting. I'm surprised that it was even up there on YouTube because it's kind of graphic. So brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. This is a little bit graphic. This is from YouTube. Shocking footage showing the victim shot in the head, lying bloody as his family watches. Here's the first clip.
One shot right here, Mike. One shot right here.
Girl in the pink hat is with them. The lady in the white is the wife, I believe. There's a guy doing the Heimlich. On the guy. And the wife is in the white wife beater right there. She looks at her husband. Right there, look at him. It's crazy. Oh, sorry. CPR, y'all, not Heimlich. So there was that there. And it was interesting because just imagine all that happening to you. You know what I mean? And not only that, at one moment, you're cheering for the president and for America. And the next moment, like the wife did, she looks over at her husband and he's bloody, unconscious. Like, imagine what that was probably like for her. Oh, shoot. That's Nick. Oh, shoot. That's JLP. Where'd mine go? So imagine looking over at that. I'll do it like this. Because I had some pictures I want to show you guys too. But for some reason, I'm not accessing the pictures. Oh, I know why. And just being there and realizing like, man, my husband, it's not looking good. And it's just unfortunate because that's not what you went there for. So on top of that, I was also thinking about how, sorry guys, I'm trying to put these pics in there. So look at this photo right here. Boom. So the wife right there, that's right after she looks at her husband. And I know this is kind of depressing and you know, not very happy story, but I just want to make a few points. Is that the wife is right there and then the husband is there laying there. Could you imagine? It's just crazy situation. And she looks over and sees him like that. Meanwhile, there was a moment where the crowd's cheering, like, yeah, right on Trump, but, they can't get in on the cheering there. So it was just an interesting dynamic to me to see, like, on one in a different section of the same event, there's people cheering, but at the same time, simultaneously, there's people who are heartbroken and devastated. And the only man to die at the whole event happens to be this woman's husband. So it's just a lot for somebody, to take in, especially a wife and 2 daughters. I didn't see the daughters. I didn't know where they were at, but I don't know. I thought that was very interesting. And then on Facebook, this is from Facebook. Here is a post written by Allison Comparator. I think it's Comparator on Facebook about losing her father so suddenly. Comparator. Thank you, Omid. And she says, I'm going to read it real quick. Yesterday, time stopped, and when it started again, my family and I started living a real-life nightmare. What was supposed to be an exciting day that we had all looked forward to, especially my dad, turned into the most traumatizing experience someone could imagine. I know the media will cover this event, and I'm going to try my best to stay away from looking at everything, especially because I've already seen and lived through it in real time. But I want everyone to know that the media will not cover and will not say about him. He was the best dad a girl could ever ask for. My sister and I never needed anything. You can call. If you called, he would answer, and he would do whatever it is you needed. And if you didn't know how he would figure it out, or if he didn't know how to figure it out, he would. He could talk and make friends with anybody, which he was doing all day yesterday, and loved every minute of it. He was a man of God, loved Jesus fiercely, and also looked after our church and our members as family. The media will not tell you that he died a real-life superhero. They're not going to tell you how he quickly threw my mom and I to the ground. They are not going to tell you that he shielded my body from bullets that came at us. He loved his family. He truly loved us enough to take a real bullet for us, and I want nothing more than to cry on him and tell him thank you. I want nothing more than to wake up and for this to not be reality for me and my family. So that's her talking on that. So I just realized stuff that be going on in the world. You know what I mean? Realize stuff, and it's all fun and games to some people, but to others, there's people who are dealing with real things, and certain things shouldn't be taken lightly when you realize, like, it's all nice and cute to have snipers on the roof and not see this guy on the roof, right? But it's not cute when somebody dies because of it. Now, a wife is a widow, and the daughters, which I think they're grown, are without a father. So I don't know. I just think that those kind of stories don't always get the attention they deserve. And of course, the family probably doesn't want that kind of attention, but still, it's still something to be said about it. But let me play one more last one. I'm losing my voice here. What the? Hold on, let me see. Let me play one more. Because this is from YouTube, a YouTube channel called Task and Purpose. A man explains the mistakes made by the Secret Service in law enforcement. So let's get to that. Whoa. That's not it. Hold on. He black.
Google Maps Street View actually shows us the parking lot, and we can see there are multiple locations just in the 2 seconds of looking here, where someone could jump up on top of that storage shed, for instance, and get to the rooftop, even without a ladder. This occurred on a Saturday after 6 p.m., so the building was likely closed, which means it should have been easy to spot anyone acting sus around here walking around because there shouldn't have been employees over there. Secret Service spokesperson Anthony Guglielmi said that the agency had designated that specific rooftop to be under the jurisdiction of law enforcement. Director of Secret Service Kimberly Cheadle, in charge of the whole Secret Service, said, quote, "There was local police in that building. There was local police in the area that was responsible for the outer perimeter of the building." Butler County District Attorney Richard Goldinger told NBC News, though, that his office deployed 4 quick response teams and 4 sniper teams at the rally on Saturday. He claimed that the Secret Service was responsible for security outside the Butler Farm Show and that they were the number one in the command hierarchy there. So, where I'm standing, it appears like the Secret Service looks like they're casually shifting blame and suggesting that it was someone else's fault for an operation that they were fully in charge of.
So, the Secret Service were responsible for all the officers. And the point I want to make about this is what I don't like, and I'm not saying this has to do with the reason why they made a mistake. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that this is the cause of the man's death, but I just want to make a point really quick because where are we at? This is the head of the Secret Service. This is Cheadle. They just said her name in the thing. I think it's Kimberly Cheadle. But I was trying to deal with the settings here. But I don't like this. And I'm not saying she's at fault for what happened, but I just don't like the idea of women taking on these type of responsibilities. You know what I mean? I don't like that. And there's also Secret Service women that were there involved blocking Donald Trump. And one of them was so short, Donald Trump could have got shot in the head as well afterwards. And then they want to, by 2025, I believe, they want to put 30%, they want the Secret Service to consist of 30% women. Why? And I bet you if you ask anybody, no one can give you a real reason why they want it to be that way. No one can give you a real reason why they want women to be in the Secret Service. No one can give you a real reason, right? And, Doug says by 2030. Maybe it says 2030. You might be right. But I just don't like the idea that it's suspect that the head of Secret Security is a woman. Reason why is because women are more emotional than men. That's just how it goes. Women are the weaker vessel. That's just how it is. I ain't make it up. It's just how it's created. Men are created to handle these type of things because they are not as subject to stress and emotional as women are. Yeah, men get emotional too, but we're created to handle these type of situations, high pressure type of situations, and we're able to be more firm and grounded. Also, our physical capability is evident that we can handle these type of things. So it's just not right to me. It's just not right to me. And like I said, I'm not saying this wouldn't have happened if she was a man. I'm not blaming her for it, but, I just don't trust that type of the hierarchy being all jacked up. And ultimately, what it all comes down to is the spirituality of all things is missing. And we talk about it all the time. The spirit of all things is missing. It's not involved. Because if it was involved and people were really working on themselves and not focused solely on just their careers and success and all those different things, then they would realize what is missing and they will return to their natural order of life and just stay subject to their role. Right? And then life would be a lot easier and people would be a lot happier. You know what I mean? And yeah, the spiritual part is the last thing. Just don't you ever realize that when it comes to solving problems in the world, we'll do everything except go to the spiritual side of things. We'll make new laws. We'll lock people up. We'll complain, yell, protest. We'll point the finger. We'll do all these things except go within. That's the last thing that people want to do. But isn't that ironic that that's the first thing that we need to do? Before we make the laws, before we do all that stuff. We need to have a sound mind, but we also need to know what's going on spiritually. Our spiritual eyes have to be awake so we can know how to properly handle situations. But that's the last thing that comes up and the last thing that's cared about or taught. So everybody wants to make the world a better place, but nobody wants to do the inner work. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to do the actual work. Money ain't gonna do it. And mind you, I was chasing money. I was chasing all these things too. And I find myself still getting into thoughts about having certain things. But one thing I know is that there's nothing, and I know this, is that there's nothing more important than your spirit, a sound mind. So until we return to that, expect more shootings, more assassinations, attempted assassinations, more out of control behavior, more this, more that. Expect it. More deaths, more lives at risk, more robbings, more B&Es, more theft, more hate, more division. Expect more because people aren't, for the most part. There's some people who are looking within, right? But people don't go within. And people know they should, and there's people who know they should and still don't. So that's just how it goes. But if you focus on yourself and focus on you, it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. Your life will be great. Your life will be perfect. Your world will be set up as it should. You'll be protected. And we don't got to go out there and try to save the world. So that's what I just had to say about that. Super chats, really quick, and then I'm going to get to some calls. We got some callers on the line. 888-775-3773. You can call in. And well wishes to the Comparator family. I messed it up again. What is it again on me? Comparator. Comparator family. And rest in peace to Corey Comparator. We wish the family well. Linian Chin. Happy equals not at peace. Men seek inner stillness, not happiness, aka drunkenness. Please do not encourage happiness over inner stillness, young prince. yes, happiness comes and goes. And when I say happy, I'm just using language, but obviously happiness is what you want. Joy. You really want peace, but it all comes from the same place. So yes, Lady Chen, you're right. Not happiness. You're right. Let me see. Let me check. Uh-huh. Let's see. Let me go to some calls here. Callers, be patient. Let me get to some calls. Let me go to CC out of Washington, D.C. CC wants to talk about the topic at hand. CC, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
I appreciate it, Joel. How are you?
All is well. How are you?
Doing well.
Nice.
So, yeah, you said a lot of good things, but I want to address the topic first.
Okay.
So, with respect to Trump, I've had a lot of experience working with, let's say high-profile personnel, especially as it relates to politicians. And one of the things you see with the Secret Service is a specific protocol. There's a rank order priority of steps they take in order to secure an area where a president or politician is going to be.
Yeah.
And when you survey the failure of securing the perimeter, all of the accounts that were provided by, pedestrians providing an anecdote on, television, or some of the stories that later came out in the news or just in videos, it's clear and obvious that whoever was organizing the detail for the Secret Service completely neglected to adequately protect President Trump. And this has resulted in calls for resignation. But you could also argue that there's something more sinister at play. But, of course, that's speculation. But I think it's reasonable speculation given the posturing of the other side of the political aisle. So when you look at that in its entirety, the fact that somebody's able to get, a football field and a half of distance between themselves and a president with a rifle, and there are people yelling, berating at this point.
Yeah.
The law enforcement and anybody who's within earshot to listen, and they don't do anything. Instead, they're looking down scope. They're looking through binoculars. And then after the shots have been fired, do something about the shots that have been fired in a reactionary way as opposed to being proactive, demonstrates to me that this is something more pernicious. But I think Trump handled it like a champion.
Yeah.
It was almost like it was actually an interesting moment because Jesse Lee talks about how, he was asking if somebody shed a tear. But I think if there was any appropriate time to shed a tear, that might have been it, because what I saw in Trump at that moment was like a crystallization of what made Western society or Western civilization what it is.
Yeah.
And that is the integrity and the strength of character to persevere even in the face of, let's say, darkness, or in the face of great adversity and even death in many cases.
Yeah.
And so that was a fantastic display on his part, but overall a disaster in shambles, and I think a commentary on the current state of the culture.
No, it really, you make a lot of good points, and I've been thinking that as well. As far as it being a setup, it's to be determined. I'm still looking to see what type of evidence they come out with, but you never know. It's very, very possible. And it also varies. It's also very possible that it's just one of those things that just kind of happen. But I will say is that there's been a decline in general across the board, across the U.S. in general when it comes to precaution and safety. And I don't know if I'm just realizing it more or paying more attention, but it doesn't make sense to me that you have Donald Trump, former president, but also what probably the most hated person in America, probably up there as one of the most hated, that there is no way that you're going to leave that rooftop unattended. Now, they said that there were snipers and law enforcement within that building that the man was on top of.
Right.
But how are they not surrounding it? How are they not in every possible area? And well, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make.
Yeah, I was going to interject because I actually work in D.C. and so I have a little more insight. Some of my projects are very close to the White House, and in order to get a good look at the project, sometimes we have to, go up certain buildings that are in close proximity. This is the protocol in Washington, D.C. when you're close to the White House or the Capitol. If you go above a certain level that provides you let's say the altitude to have a good angle, let's say, for example, you're a sniper, there you have to notify Secret Service and the security detail that you're going to do this ahead of time.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about with there's a concretized system and protocol that has to be followed. And the fact that this was completely neglected in the case of Trump, I've been around, presidents' children and all that kind of stuff. They had better security detail than Donald Trump in that respect. You know, so it's like something I was watching. It was like, nah, this can't be true. This can't be happening. Especially with a guy like Donald Trump. You said he's one of the most hated, but he's also one of the most famous as well.
Exactly.
And you know how famous people are with their security detail.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous. But
no, I want to.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, go ahead. Finish your point, though. Finish your point.
Yeah, I was gonna transition to another point, but like I said, it's like you can't liken the guy to Hitler and spend all of your presidency saying that he is the biggest threat to our democracy, painting him to be the bane of the American existence, and then when a sniper takes a shot at him and misses, and then you also have people like your friend Destiny, friend of the show, coming out and saying, oh, well, if you're going to use a rifle, like, why not go to the shooting range in order to get good with one? Like, this is the temperament on the left, and this is what the conversation has been in America. And this is the degradation of culture and civility in society. And what I was going to say is you talk about how things are going to continue to get worse and Christians have to be able to live in this kind of a society. And I think that's entirely true. But at the same time, Christians are not weak. Christians are not pacifistic. Christians are not the type of people who allow themselves to be pushed around.
Yeah.
Like what Trump did, in the face of adversity, you continue to fight. And Christ could have turned away at any point, but he carried the cross and was crucified, and that was his mission. But everybody has their own individual one. Go ahead.
No, and I agree. And what I loved about what Trump displayed, and I think that it needed to, unfortunate that it happened the way it did, but I think people saw the type of man that he was. And a lot of people already knew that he was this type of guy, but what it did, I think it really inspired and ignited just this respect for him, like you said, to fight amongst adversity. But also it does make you love America more. It makes you want to stand up and not fight back in the wrong way, but stand up and stand your ground. Because I would imagine that when the country was founded, it was founded off of people who, the America itself and the Constitution, all that stuff, were people who were solid. And
it was to the point, I was going to say, it was to the point where if you killed one of the people fighting in the Revolutionary War, it just galvanized the Americans even more, because they wanted to bring honor to that legacy of the fallen soldier who died fighting for what he believed in. And that's effectively what Christians do in a spiritual sense. It's like Jesus died for our sins, and as a result, we lay down our lives the same way he did.
Yeah.
But, people nowadays don't have that kind of ethic about them, but they want to use the term Christian.
Yeah.
And I think Linya and Chin's super chat was very good in detailing how it's not about happiness, it's about peace and joy. Yeah. By the way, Joel, those are fruits of the Spirit. So, yes, you can have both. You can have both peace and joy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
I
mean,
agree.
good conversation. I don't want to take too much time, but I would like to disclose one thing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is Christ. Yeah, shout out to the chat. This is Christ Conquered.
Nice. Right on, Christ.
sir.
CC.
Yes, sir.
Right on. I appreciate it, man. Well, I appreciate your take on the whole thing. Great points, man. And call me again. Thanks for calling again or calling in.
Of course. Of course.
All right, man. Take care.
Yep.
Christ conquers. Now I can match the voice with the and he sound black. I thought Christ Conquers was white for whatever reason. But great points. Great points. And I'm there. I'm right with you. It's crazy. And we just gotta overcome. That's what the point is. We gotta overcome. You gotta overcome. Inside. We gotta stop. The other stuff will come, and we'll have our opportunity to go after those things. But what is most important is the spirit. And that's what and over the years, I believe Donald Trump has understood that. Why? Well, for one, he probably had a really good father. So that helped to make him more grounded. But also, he's 78. The man has been in business his whole life. So he's very solid. And that's what's needed to lead and represent the country or whatever you have going on in your life. So shout out to Christ Conscious. What's the name? Christ Conquers. Oh, okay, Nick, thank you. Callers, hold for a second. Well, let me get to one. 888-775-3773. There are some lines open here, guys. So, oh yeah, there's some lines open, so you can get in, or we can get into the conversation. Let me know what you guys think. 888-775-3773. Let me go really quick to Zenny. And then callers, the rest of the callers, I will get to you. Be patient. Zenny, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Yo, what up, brother? How's it going?
How's it going, Zenny?
Pretty good. I had to follow up Christ Conquers, man. Can you believe Christ Conquers is black?
He's black.
He's black.
Nah,
He's black.
cool.
He got Christ. He's a Hebrew Israelite.
Right? Is he really?
No, I'm just joking. But, you know people say that blacks are the real Jews?
Lord have mercy. Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Anyways, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about that assassination attempt. That was wild, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's wild. So my theory is that the Secret Service was pretty much allowing it to happen. And it was only the will of God that allowed Trump to turn his head at the last second and have that shot miss him.
Dude, and another point to add to what you're just saying, Trump wrote in I think on Truth Social or something, and he said the first thing he heard was the beam in his ear, and then he heard the shots, and then he felt the ear. But it was the beam that made him turn his head, right? You know what
Angel
I mean?
B.
Angel B. That's right.
The Angel B came down from heaven and saved Trump.
That's what I was all like, wow. Because there's a video that I think Nick played on a show where it shows like his head, if it was turned a certain way, it would have hit it would have went through. But because he had looked, it turned his head, and it was there because of that beam. I think it was because of that beam. And then, he was able to get out of the line of sight. So that's
man.
crazy.
I think this might have convinced a lot of people, including Trump himself, if he wasn't fully convinced that God is real and he's in the mix. And he'd be cooking. He'd be cooking right now.
No,
another thing. Sorry, go on.
No, go. Get your point.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to point out is that it's like really, really coming around on the left. Like people are getting fired from their jobs. Tenacious D getting their tour canceled because people are going out there and exposing their evil to the world, being like, "Oh, I wished he would have been killed."
Exactly.
People are like, "Are you serious? Like, do you realize what would have happened? Like, there would have been civil war. It wouldn't have just been Trump who would have died if that would have happened. It would have been chaos all over."
Man, exactly. It would have been crazy, and that's what I'm saying. Is like people think that they know what might have been the better thing. No, it happened as it should because if it would have took Trump out, it would have been a what do you call that? Civil war.
I don't know if we'd be talking right now. I don't know if you'd be able to do your show right now, or you'd be doing a show from a bunker.
It'd be so crazy. But
the Punchy TV bunker.
But I was gonna say about I forgot what I was gonna say. It's about
talking about the DEI Secret Service.
No, but do you have anything to say about that?
Well, it's just that I wanted to say that I think the director, that woman, she inspired you to remove all the female mods. You saw that and you're like, you know what? No more females in leadership.
Right, I saw that she was ahead. I was like, this ain't happening. Right. No more.
No, but like the female Secret Service agents, they just look ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was just a perfect example of like what's wrong. Like you're just doing something just so you can say we're putting 30% of the Secret Service agents are going to be female by 2030, but like no one wants that.
Yeah,
it's not good for anyone.
Exactly, and I don't understand. But it's that diversity, inclusion thing,
equity, inclusion,
all
crap.
that stuff. All it is just these things that don't make sense, but it's like progressive and all that stuff. So it's just crazy what's happening. But I think that that's what I was gonna say is that when it comes to Trump and his popularity, you had mentioned that it's only making him look better, and it's making people see the truth of what's really going on. And it came at the perfect timing. Unfortunate events, but it came at the perfect timing because right before this was the debate, and everybody's looking at Biden do the debate, and we're like, what the? Even though most of us already knew, the world knew that he was slow and all that stuff, and then. However long it's been, we get this rally, and it just continues to make trouble.
Don't forget. Sorry, let me just jump in. Don't forget that right before this was that press conference that Biden did. Another ethics fail.
And then
they're like, maybe he'll save himself with the press conference. Maybe the press conference, and they're like, no, okay, send in the shooter, or whatever.
No, it's crazy.
Or let the shooter in, or whatever orders were given,
Yeah, well, hopefully, I'm not too sure about it, but we'll see the facts if they come out. But the point is that it's all making Trump look better, and we'll see what happens in November because you still never know what people are gonna do.
Prayers for Trump, man. Prayers for Trump.
You never exactly.
Yeah, you never know, and prayers for everyone. Like I don't want anyone to take out Biden. Or anyone, because if anyone gets taken out, it's going to be civil war. It's going to be bad.
No,
that's good.
Exactly. And
it needs to be voting with no machines, please.
Yeah,
count all the votes.
I agree. Well, I appreciate it, Xenia. Good points, man. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, have a good one, man.
All right, you too. Nice. Amazing stuff. Let me move the calls. Let's go to Terry out of Portland, Oregon. Terry, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, Terry. How are you?
I am not well, Joel.
Why are you not well? You should be well.
You did me wrong. You did me dirty.
What did I do?
You thrust power on me, put me in a precarious position.
What is that?
You gave me mod status
Yeah.
I don't remember ever speaking it out. It just was put upon me.
That's true.
And, you know, it did invite a lot of green eyes my way and a lot of nastiness. And I don't feel, or I don't, it's not even feel, I know in my heart that I've been a good mod and that I've never done anything to anyone that they didn't deserve. And I've never even banned anyone. I kept getting accused of banning people from the channel, which never happened.
Yeah.
I only time people out, and usually for only 10 seconds, unless they kept going on. And, you know, yesterday there was a big fuss kicked up, but there was somebody who's very popular who was personally insulting me. And, you know, I wouldn't have let his comment stand if it had been against anyone else in the chat. But because he's popular, a lot of people got upset with me about it. And this is a person that I've blocked in the past because he's so vulgar.
Yeah.
Okay? So, like, I just want to, you know, state that you've done me dirty.
Well,
I've been good to you. I've been loyal to you.
No, you've always been in the chat. I will say you've always been in the chat, and you always have been consistent. And I know that you do your best with the
And
mod
I don't
status.
abuse power.
But what I will say is that even when it comes to taking it personal in the chat about even certain things, that can drive one to do, you know, respond back or think that this is and that's not how it should be. For one, we have to overcome, you know, letting people bother us in the chat or take things personal in general, but then also to be a mod on a channel and then take things personal is another thing. And I find that it's extremely harder for the ladies to not get caught up in it than it is for the men. And because of that, it seems as if, and I've heard too, like you know, other people, not just you, from other people have mentioned things about the other mods in the chat as well, some other lady mods. But yeah, I just have more complaints about the lady mods than I do about the male mods.
Do you think that's because that we're women, though, Joel?
What do you mean?
A lot of the people who follow Bond, I'm just going to say, a lot of them haven't overcome their issues with women.
A lot of say the last part again?
A lot of the people who are into Bond haven't overcome their issues with women.
Right, for sure.
And it's obvious. So, like,
but
I'm just saying, you know, they're more likely to get angry and offended by a woman than they are by a man.
Well, there's some in there. There's definitely some womanly guys in the chat for sure. But the guys that I have here that I left to be modded, I think that they do a decent job of just being normal. And if I see,
well, I do have a complaint about one of them.
Okay, but don't say it on air.
Well, where am I supposed to say it? Like,
don't say the name.
We've never had any consultations, you know, as mods that I know of, you know. So, you know, in terms of direction, I just think, you know, as leader, you didn't really provide any. I just had to go with, like, intuitively what I felt you wanted at the channel.
Yeah.
And I thought you wanted to have a nicer sort of space than maybe you see on the other channels, but I guess not.
Well, you also don't want it to be, you don't want this to be that it shouldn't bother you this much. I mean, I don't know how much is bothering you.
I'm also playing it up for dramatic effect.
I know that
show.
too. I know that too. But still, in general, it shouldn't be a thing at all. It should be like, oh well, you know, it shouldn't be like even a phone call is not even that necessary. Even though I don't mind it because I don't care. But it's just like a little blue check on the chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but now I don't feel safe.
But then it makes me think that if you want it, it's because you want to use it for feeling safe or shutting people up and having that false control, which is not good.
Well, I mean, again, like I said, I know in my heart that I never abused power. So I just wanted to, get on here and be clear about how I feel about it.
Yeah. No,
so
I appreciate it. No, I understand.
Me, as heart to heart, Christian to Christian, I didn't abuse power. I was a victim of many, circumstances, but I'm going to rise above it and overcome.
There you go, Terry. Just take the L, keep it moving, and just say, you know what? I'm just going to be a good sport and be in the chat and give my support and just love on everybody, regardless if I have a wrench next to my name or not. That's the Christian way.
Mm-hmm.
But I do thank you
for...
I
think you need to be careful, though, too, in the future about putting people in positions that, maybe they're not ready for, or, I didn't know. I never asked for it. Yeah. I'm not one of those, It just happened to me, and it was kind of overwhelming, and it's been a roller coaster, and I guess I'm glad to be off of it, to be honest.
Yeah, because I don't want it. It doesn't need to be a roller coaster, and if that's what it is, then it's best not to.
It's stressful modding.
Yeah. And it shouldn't be, though. And I understand, but it shouldn't even be that big of a deal. I almost didn't even. I even allowed the ladies to be mods just for the fun of it, because I don't see the big deal in it. But there is this tense stress that comes from that I see that the ladies have in the chat sometimes, and I'm thinking like, why are they tense and stressed out about it? And I know you guys tend to be more emotional, so then I thought about it further.
People are also more hateful.
I know, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So nobody really should be mod in general. But of course, I need people to help, moderate the chat. And I just gonna keep it simple. The guys who, the co-host here on the network, and then a few people who are in the chat, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. So it ain't personal, but I thank you for doing what you did and putting the number out there and timing people out, because they said that I don't know, you look crazy or something. I don't know what they said, but thank you.
Well, they were timed out for multiple reasons over time. But I mean, I just, people accused me of banning people, and I never did. So I just want that for the record.
Because I was looking at my block. I was looking at my block list, and it's been growing. I don't know. I ain't gonna say it was you.
I've never blocked anyone.
Okay. Then I got to check some other people.
Just saying. Anyway.
But I appreciate it, Terry.
I don't know, Joel.
You'll be all right. You'll be back in the chat.
Right, but will we be all right, Joel?
Yeah. You'll be back in the chat doing your thing like nothing happened.
That's a nice thought.
I appreciate it, though, Terry. Thanks for. I just got to move the calls here, but I appreciate.
Bye.
I appreciate it. Have a good one. Amazing stuff. I got to move the calls. 888-775-3773. And also Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube don't know what we're talking about. They're like, what is going on here? And I have also another audience to speak to. So we want to move along here. Arthur, a first-time caller out of Colorado, has something to say. Arthur, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, this is my first time talking to you, Joel. Good talking to you.
Right on, Arthur. Appreciate it. How's it going?
Yeah, so I was calling regarding this whole Trump assassination. You know, it was just days prior to this that it was going on. I was just telling Nick, I was looking at him, you know, stepping out into these UFC fights the way he was, just kind of scared for the man and paranoid. I was kind of wondering why they weren't protecting him, you know, in these UFC fights the way they were. I was kind of like on edge, wondering why we were thinking that, you know, this was okay and safe for him to be in this type of atmosphere, knowing that, you know, things are very crucial right now. I mean, it was just days prior to this incident that, I mean, I'm sitting on edge on my seat, not because of the fights, but I'm looking at Trump like, this is not good. Girlfriend looks over at me and is just kind of like, yeah, you're kind of right. He's just out in the open, like it's nobody's business. It's like, this is not good. I feel like we're acting like this is not a big deal. And here we go. There's that assassination, and I'm not at all surprised at it at all. And I kind of think that people are going to kind of, maybe I guess in a way I can say, throw jabs, maybe not a shooting, but you know, I just think it's just the beginning, to be honest with you. But what are your thoughts on that?
When you say him out in the open, were you talking about even him before the shooting took out, or what were you talking about specifically?
Yeah, I guess right now I'm talking specifically about, you know, he attends these UFC fights, you know.
Yeah.
Comes out with Dana White.
Oh, I see.
And you know, some of these fights take place in Vegas. I mean, I just been looking around and watching what's going on TV, and the man just doesn't look like he's being protected like this is a serious thing.
Yeah.
I've looked at other, you know, I've seen the way Japan protects their people. I mean, it's so military based, like they look like, you know, they're out hunting around whoever they're protecting. And I'm like, we do not look like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we look the very opposite. We look weak. We look like they can be taken out. There's something going on, I think, bigger than what's going on.
You're right.
I think there's a bigger picture. I mean, no offense to women, but you're not stronger than us. And there's something that men have. We're meant to be protectors. So the way I look at it is just kind of like, take the women out and let's put, 7 shacks around our president instead of what we're doing now.
Yeah, exactly.
This is something I just been kind of very concerned about, and it's happened, and I'm just not at all surprised. So I hope this really, I hope we take this serious and we look like we're taking it serious, because, I mean, seeing is believing. So I think it's kind of ridiculous that we're doing this whole women protecting our president. It's not okay. I feel like men are supposed to protect the women and children, not reverse.
A caller had once said on the JLP show, I think it was last week or maybe it was this week, but he said that instinctually it's not in a woman to protect the husband. Right. Say if like a wife and a husband is at the rally, instinctually, his idea, because he was talking about how he was at the rally, and he said his first thought was to protect his wife, and he was saying that instinctually, it's not a woman's first thought to protect her husband, right? Because the husband is supposed to protect the wife, and as sharp as men are, as alert as men are, there's just so many different things that men are created with to do these certain things. And of course, not that women are incapable, but it's not their natural place. It's not their natural order. So they're not going to be as good of it. They're not going to be as alert. They're not going to be as aware, and they're not going to take it as serious as much as they want the world to believe. And I think all across the United States, which is why a lot of people are leaving and going elsewhere, other places, is because the quality of life is going down. And people are accepting things that they shouldn't accept. And, it's just it's just all over the place. So I think the only way, in my opinion, is if people start returning to God and really like working on themselves and focusing on that instead of trying to be fair and equal and all that other stuff.
I agree 100% on that.
Yeah.
I think we've drifted off order on the way it should be.
Yeah.
And that's been a big problem. I'm glad the men say this is a true miracle. I believe that's happened nationally. If people don't see that, I was watching those videos where he turned, and I had no clue about the beam of light. I mean, that just settles it for me right there. That's really amazing.
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much of your time. I just wanted to bring that up. It was great talking to you, Joel.
Right on. How'd you hear about the show?
I'm a listener of Jesse.
Nice.
I've called before, talked to him, talked to Hake. You're the only person I haven't talked to, so I thought I'd give you a call and
I appreciate it.
Just tune in. I've been watching your show as well. I just like the diversity of what all of you bring to the table, and I'm a huge fan of all of you. So I appreciate all you guys are bringing.
Right on, Arthur. I appreciate it, man, and call me again.
For sure.
All right. Thanks, bro.
God bless.
All right, you too. Nice. As you guys can see, I'm way past time, but guess what? American Anchor, baby. Right? Oh. I got I got juked. So American Anchor Baby is coming in right now. So I gotta end the show. Sorry, callers. I gotta end. I thought I had more time, but I gotta go. Call me tomorrow, though, callers. Those on the line. And I will get back to you guys and we'll talk about it. But thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all y'all in the chat and Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Much love. Joel Friday TV across the board. Subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. Until next time, y'all, I gotta go. All right. Bye.